My name is JC Fontanive. This is my studio in Ridgewood, Queens. We make everything from machines and kinetic works to wooden wall sculptures here. I have a history of working with kinetic work, so animation and working with the moving image in physical form. So machines that have different elements of movement but that are oftentimes related to cinema and animation. I do work on a lot of different mediums simultaneously, and I think those processes inform each other. The aesthetics of how machinery tools and how levers and things, pulleys work is also carried through into the wooden pieces that I'm working on right now. The two biggest parts of my work are working in three-dimensional work in the physical world, but then also two-dimensional and on the page. I'm always drawing and doing studies, particularly abstract drawing. For many years I drew figurative, but all the abstract shapes and things come from that knowledge of knowing figurative drawing. When I make drawings, I'm thinking about how wood cuts and how it's carved. As I'm drawing, it's almost like I'm carving. And then when I'm on the bandsaw or something, cutting the wood, it's like a drawn line. Or when I'm planing wood, it's like mark making. So it's kind of like a back and forth between the 3D and the 2D, and they inform each other in that way. To me, investigating into animation was super interesting because there's just so many possibilities. The way something animates or moves is mysterious. You don't really know why it's happening. That investigation has definitely led into all my other work. The Flipbook Machine series is something that I started back in 2004 when I was studying in London. I was really obsessed with the persistence of vision and how images layer up on the retina. It's kind of a mystery how it works, and so it was a way of working with that kind of unknown aspect of reality. The idea of the Flipbook Machine actually just came to me one day when I was in my bedroom studio. I was collecting a lot of clock movements from the street markets in East London. I would take them apart and see how they worked and learn a lot from just how clocks were constructed. At the same time, I was creating animation and making films, and I kind of combined the two. I used brass and metal and materials like that. There were a lot of students at the Royal College of Art experimenting with layers of images and a lot of repetition. I showed a bunch of machines for my final. It wasn't actually something they wanted you to do. I think even my classmates thought it was weird because the degree program that I was doing, it was for making films. Nobody had even made three-dimensional objects. I didn't care and just followed what I liked anyway. To me, to find a different language for myself as an artist and to not be afraid to just go into that world. It was nice to create a language, like that. I think of animation as a way of bringing images to life. A lot of the images I used in the past were from 18th and 19th century natural history illustrations of birds and insects and things that I would find in old books, and I would animate them. It's like they would be kind of resurrected from the dead. Insects, like butterflies and moths, they're like little machines. They have two wings, very similar to how the paper hinges on the machines. They're like abstractions going through space in a way like a moving image because they're bits of color combinations that just are free to fly through space. Each individual animation has its own character. How it flies and how you interpret movement. I think it's interesting that you can take something so kind of abstract and as you're making it be in a certain state, like in a calm state, and then show somebody an animation of a fish and they go, I think it looks calm, and I've had people say that to me, that exactly what I was thinking or feeling as I made the pieces. Not necessarily that you're trying to put something into the piece, but that your whole process, who you are, how you make things, this kind of mood that you're in when you're making things, translates through the work, and so people can see it in an abstract way. Like Baudelaire said, we're trying to understand the language of silent things, and I think in a way that's what I'm trying to understand with abstraction and with the current work. The unsaid things of nature and human experience. Everything from history, the cosmos, the deep sea, Stonehenge, parts of feelings, thoughts that we've had, those parts of the undefined world. And I think as an artist, you're kind of like a space explorer, and you're going into this other world and bringing back like strange moon rocks. It's interesting to try to figure out what that mysterious world is, and I hope that people can understand it in kind of like a collective unconscious way, where it's not anything literal, but you have an understanding of it. And I think that relates back to nature and how nature in general designs things, and an artist gets in tune with that designing force. And then I think people can recognize things in the work that relate to nature because we're all part of nature.